It was the kind of morning that looked gentle but wasn't. Soft sunlight, the smell of rain, the quiet hum of a city pretending to be calm. And yet, inside her apartment, Maya stood frozen, a woman trying to breathe through the noise inside her chest. On the table, his phone still glowed, one message open. 7 words that collapsed the world she had built. I miss you too. Same place tonight. She didn't scream, didn't throw anything, didn't even cry. Just stood there, still, shaking, silent. Because sometimes silence isn't peace. It's disbelief. For 3 years, she had loved him like it was her purpose. The kind of love that remembers birthdays, favorite coffee orders, and the way he liked his shirts folded. The kind that builds a home out of hope. And yet, in that single line of text, she realized she had been the only one building. When he came home that evening, humming, casual, guilty in ways only silence could sense, she was still at the table. The phone was gone, her eyes dry. Long day, he asked, kissing her forehead. She nodded, and for the first time she looked at him, not as the man she loved, but as a stranger standing inside her peace. That night, she didn't confront him, she didn't demand explanations. Instead, she sat by the window and watched the streetlights flicker against the glass. Her thoughts were heavy, but her voice, quiet. She realized revenge would only make her more like the pain that broke her. And she didn't want that. Days passed. He continued his lies, thinking she hadn't seen the truth, and she continued her silence, thinking through the shape of her exit. Because sometimes, silence isn't weakness. It's preparation. She found a new apartment, small, sunlit, and honest, packed her books, her plants, her peace, left behind the ring he had chosen, the photographs he had framed, left behind the version of herself who waited to be loved properly. When he came home to find her gone, she didn't leave a note, only a cup of cold coffee on the table, his favorite, the way she always made it. That was her goodbye. Quiet, final, graceful. In the weeks that followed, the world felt unfamiliar. Freedom didn't feel like joy at first. It felt like dizziness. She woke up to silence and mistook it for loneliness. But over time, that silence began to sound like something else, like healing. She started walking every morning. No destination, just motion. The city was the same, but her eyes weren't. She noticed the way sunlight spilled unevenly across rooftops, how strangers held doors open, how laughter in cafes didn't sting anymore. Slowly, life became less about what she lost, and more about what she was learning to keep. One afternoon, she ran into him at a bookstore. Of all places. He looked surprised. She didn't. He smiled, the kind that tries to rewind time. Hey, he said softly. You look good. And she did. Not polished, not performed, just peaceful. They talked for a few minutes, surface words floating between two people who had once shared everything. He mentioned how things hadn't worked out with the other woman. She nodded, kind, but unmoved. He asked if she was angry. She smiled, a small quiet smile that made him look away. No, she said, just grateful. He didn't understand. He couldn't. Because gratitude wasn't for him. It was for herself, for walking away, for choosing silence, for not letting pain turn her into something unrecognizable. That night, as she walked home, the city lights blurred into soft halos of gold. She thought about how easy it would have been to destroy him, to tell everyone, to make him feel the humiliation she had swallowed. But what would that have given her? A moment of power, perhaps. And then, emptiness. She had seen enough of that. Peace, she realized, isn't the absence of pain. It's the decision to stop reopening the wound. Months passed. She began painting again. Colors that looked like recovery. Ochre, lilac, pale blue. Each stroke felt like a sentence she never said. Each canvas, a chapter she closed. Her art became her therapy, her silence made visible. One evening, as she sat in her small apartment, she heard her own laughter echo against the walls. It startled her, the sound of herself, alive again. And in that moment she knew she had forgiven him. Not because he deserved it, but because she deserved peace. Forgiveness, she learned, isn't saying it's okay. It's saying, it no longer owns me. There were nights she still remembered the ache, the betrayal, the sleepless hours, the what-ifs. But those memories no longer cut. They just passed through her like gentle rain. She had stopped fighting the story, and in doing so, she found a softer kind of strength. People often think revenge will make the pain smaller, but it only makes you live in it longer. Maya learned that silence isn't surrender, it's self-respect. Sometimes peace doesn't come from justice. It comes from walking away quietly, carrying nothing but your dignity. Years later, she would meet someone new, a man who asked, not assumed, who listened, not performed. But even then, she never spoke of the past in bitterness. She had outgrown the need to be understood by those who once misunderstood her. Her peace wasn't fragile anymore. It was earned, chosen. Every morning she'd open the curtains and let the light in, that same soft light that once witnessed her heartbreak. Now it simply touched her face and kept moving forward, and maybe that's the real victory, not in proving someone wrong, but in no longer needing to. Because the truest revenge is peace that no one can take away. And in that silence, she finally heard the voice she'd been searching for, her own.